CIA, FBI money, Pentagon, DARPA money that went into all these social media sites, right? They're government owned.
Yeah, well, yes. Even
So-
the internet was the ARPANET, yeah.
Yeah, so like even that is a violation of our First Amendment.
Dude, Sam Tripoli.
We're in it.
We're in it, dude. You're my biggest guest.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. I feel special.
I feel special. We're coming full circle, actually.
Bro, you've been doing so much amazing stuff. I can't believe you haven't gotten some bigger ass people.
Well, yeah, I think it's because I don't want to sell my soul to the Illuminati, and I've never gone to a P. Diddy party. I think that's a big reason why I'm still on the tricycle.
Oh, dude, is it like I guess I'm the only sexual deviant in Hollywood not to make it. Like it seems like if you get weird, you good things happen to you. Except for me, I just destroy my career doing speed and making bad decisions. But now here we are. I'm with you, so everything works out.
Everything has worked out.
You're out there, you're culture jamming. Everyone's rooting you on.
Yeah.
People are sending me your video, and I don't want to tell them it's not real because they're enjoying it. I feel like I'm telling people Santa Claus doesn't exist, and but congratulations on all your stuff.
No, thank you. I really appreciate that. You actually kind of gave me my start.
Well, you're welcome. As long as you're happy still doing it, and it's not like everything's gone to shit. I'm super excited for you.
I'm actually happier. It's crazy because the crazier and more unhappy everybody else has become, it's like a weird doppelganger effect where I become more optimistic. I become like actually insanely optimistic.
I love that. I love that, dude, and that's great for you. And it's me too. It's almost like the worse it gets for everybody else, the more I'm right, the more people think I'm less crazy.
Dude, that's kind of what it is. It's like vindication. Sorry, I'm just setting an alarm so that you don't make it, so we don't miss your show.
Are you gonna drive me over there?
Yes.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah, so we're setting the alarm for 8.
Yeah, when you were at the DNC, that video, we played it on my show. My buddy thought it was real, and I was so sad to tell him. At the end, I go, that's my friend Alex.
Yeah, it's great. Because do you remember how we first met?
You were a rapper, right? And Eddie Bravo, you wanted to rap in Eddie Bravo's show?
Yeah, I was at 10th Planet.
Yeah.
I saw your show. I bought the ticket with me and my girlfriend. Still together, by the way.
Congratulations.
Yeah, still together, trying for a kid. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you look like you hump hard. You hump hard energy. Like, you really bring it.
Well, I'm also like you're the first person I've told this to, but I'm also kind of like a no-fapper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I try my best. Like,
so you're just drowning her every time you hit it?
Yeah.
She's just swimming upstream. Good for you, buddy. I'm working on it so hard. It's so hard. Even though in Texas, it's really great that, the state of freedom, I have to give a facial pic or an ID to go on Pornhub, which I was like, I both hate and love this at the same time.
I agree because it's like crack, dude. Like, look, I once in a while will look at porn, but I try my best. I'm actually, once again, off topic, I try to not finish, right? Like, a lot of...
That can be dangerous because then you could go forever.
Yeah, I know. You set a timer. Or you just say, okay, we got to go. This is bad.
Yeah.
Let's stop this.
It's just
and
low vibrational, dude.
It's the worst. It's actually the worst. Like, you watch it and you're like, oh, fuck. I got to never look at this for a minute. But you get these urges and whatever. You spend like 20 minutes or 30 minutes every 2 weeks or a month.
I've never been more productive in my life than when I'm trying to quit porn. Because I'm like trying to do anything but porn. Like,
and you do everything. Everything. You do everything.
Write jokes, stretch, workout. I just anything but porn.
I think it's actually worse for you than like any drug imaginable. But like there is like an actual benefit to like the fact there is a benefit to pornography. And it's the fact that, like, if you're single, pretty much every single guy now has erectile dysfunction. So as long as you don't spank it, and as long as you don't look at this stuff, you can get any girl you want.
Yeah. All right. Because, women love that you don't watch pornography. And it's just like, who are these people? Where are they? It's just really crazy to me. Like, when I was young, we would have to hunt porn. You would have to hunt it down. You would have to hope somebody threw it out in their trash. You'd find a bundle like in the woods and someone just put out their porno mags. It was so hard. Now it's at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least like the mainstream sites are secure websites, so you don't have to worry about like viruses or any bad stuff happening. But it gets dangerous, bro. Like people can like
on a Mac, you don't give viruses on Mac. Mac viruses are a Bill Gates induced thing they did on purpose to charge you for like security on your computer.
Really?
He made up the virus. That's why they're not on Apples. You ever see on your iPhone, you're like, oh, virus on your... Nope, it's not real.
It's
Doesn't
a scam.
exist.
A scam.
Yes.
It's a scam. But either way, those are secure websites, which is like that. The one benefit is at least these are secure websites.
Yeah,
but
like in Texas, they're like, we need your facial, we need your face picture ID. I'm like, I'm not giving you my face ID.
But you know what that does? Though? It makes you say like, okay, I'm just
gangbang pornography.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'm just not gonna look at this and just meet a real girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. But I think that's the purpose of it.
Dating's hard though right now, dude. A lot of people are talking about these dating websites have completely destroyed dating.
Why? I met Vanessa on a dating website.
Well, because what they've discovered is that 100% of the women find 80% of the men unattractive.
So be in the 20%.
So yeah, that's great if you can be. That's great if you can be. But like things that like me, right? Let's just say
you got to eat meat and lift weights, Sam. That's all you got to do.
Well, I am trying to do that. I'm doing a lot of weights. I'm doing jiu-jitsu. I'm doing all that. But the point is that like the things that make me special aren't on a profile. Do you understand? Like I can't list it. It's like my shit talking, my quick wit. So that is like kind of destroying the dating pool. It's hard to get that across. So now you have women with unrealistic expectations, and you have men who start to give up. It's all part of this like this depopulation thing that is like just exploding right now.
Dude, it's the biggest psyop. It's actually the biggest psyop in the world. There's so many psyops.
Psyops on psyops.
Dude, for real, it's fucking crazy. I've always liked dating websites because I'm like an autistic weirdo, and it always helped me out because I didn't have to talk as much, right? All you gotta do is take a picture with a dog and like kind of be in shape.
And just be shredded.
Yeah, and then just like, hey, you want to play mini golf?
Like,
yeah,
I'm so interested.
Yeah, just be shredded. All I gotta do is be like jacked and like somewhat good looking and like not. Like,
you're good.
Not a total creep.
You're good.
Or just like be a creep after 7 drinks and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, like, it was so funny. I didn't have a girlfriend, and I had 2 girlfriends in high school for about 2 weeks total.
Yeah, I had never had girlfriends in high
and
school.
then I went to college, and it just was insane. And like all my pickup moves from the 90s would be things that would get you Me Too today. You know what I'm saying? Everything, like ring the doorbell, all this fucking great shit you could do. Can't do that anymore. So I don't even know.
Dude, and then everyone's an incel, and now like everyone's becoming a fucking Nazi, bro. It's crazy. Well, it's not. I mean,
I'm trying to work on this bit right now, Alex, about how they've destroyed these terms, and like being called a racist or a homophobe or anti-Semitic in a weird way is a badge of honor based on who's calling you it.
This is kind of true.
Which is like all these retards. And like I've met real racists, I've met real bigots, I met all these people. I would rather hang out with them than the annoying woke fucks. Because you can tell a bigot, shut up. Like, hey, dude, we don't want to hear it. And they could chill.
Yeah, that's
annoying
true.
People are annoying. They bring annoying to everything they do.
Yes, but now it's kind of changed a little bit. Because now it's just become like, now it's becoming like this badge of identity, right? Like now all this like fucking crazy like Nick Fuentes psyop stuff is like gotten so entrenched in people's identity that like it doesn't work anymore. Now they're like, oh, now you're dismissing the conversation. Now they use like the same woke language that like the leftists use to like justify their bullshit ideology.
Why? Nick Fuentes is an interesting person, you know, to me. Like he is a great speaker,
phenomenal speaker,
but yeah, he's a little bit all over the place in terms of you know, how he flip-flops on certain things. But he's a great speaker, and he got a lot of things right. I just think, and I've always thought this about him, his delivery has always been the problem. You know, he's used the, you know, shock and awe, you know, kind of way of describing a lot of things going on in the world. And he's right on some stuff.
He's right about like immigration. He's right about everything, but he's wrong about the cause of it.
Like in what sense?
Like it's the Jew. Like everything. His whole identity is it's the Jews. It's the Jews.
No, I'm with you on that. And that's where I get in a lot of.
It's not because I'm Jewish, but I just think it's just not true, right?
You're a great example of why it's not the Jews, you know. But I will tell you that there's just levels to this shit, and if you know who it is, if you know their names, they're not really running anything.
I agree with that.
They're just doing what they're told.
Yeah, like I don't think Klaus Schwab is trying to run the New World Order.
No, he's just the face.
He's the face. He has an organization, and there's probably people at the top. Maybe also non-human entities. You never know.
I was just
like
on Rogan just right before this.
yeah, which is kind of crazy. You go from Rogan to the tricycle.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Which is awesome.
It's
Actually, one of the
just
coolest
life.
things ever.
It's, like
It's just-
it's just you know. No, I love it, dude. But you know, I was telling him like this is what we're seeing right now is the return of the old gods, and the old gods are way older than Abrahamic religions. And you know, there's people out there that will sit down, they can break down to you how everything is Jew world order. But I go, there's somebody who created that. Like if we have a discussion about British intelligence role in Islam, and we know how it's manipulated that, and I don't know if you've had that conversation yet, but the British intelligence fingers all over Islam. Like I didn't really want
I was watching like the Martyr Made podcast, and I gotta watch. I've listened to like the anthology, but I gotta listen to it again. I think and again and again and again.
Well,
but they brought that up about how everybody got super radicalized as a result of like the British played a huge role as to how these people got
well, the
super
first
radicalized.
House of Saud was the first king of the House of Saud was a British spy.
What really?
Yeah, they installed him in there. And because if you control them, you control Mecca.
30 minutes? Yeah.
You know, that's it. It's like, it's really crazy. Now you study Mecca. There's a real big argument there's a really good argument that both Israel and Saudi Arabia are, in fact, just British intelligence satellite bases.
I don't know. I got to learn more about that. But the Israel thing's been, you know, Zionism's existed for thousands of years, right? Like people like even leaders like our like founding fathers were like big on a Jewish home in Israel and stuff like that. Like that's been a thing that's kind of been like a thing for that's gonna be a thing before even the British Empire existed or before Saudi Arabia became a thing.
I mean, the big push
doesn't mean like what
like
Netanyahu's doing is good or any of that stuff.
So
it's
if you go like, what is Zionism? It's the same thing as climate change, right? It's like what you're sold on and what is much deeper is two different things.
Well, sort of. I think that like climate change, the climate change stuff is just complete bullshit. Right. It's World Economic Forum, like Club of Rome. Right. We're trying to we want to reduce population. We want to create a global government where we control everything, and we have to limit it's a way to limit your movement and limit technology so they control everything, right? The idea of Zionism is like literally in the Old Testament.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is what Zionism is presented as and what you could actually go, there's much more to it, are two different things.
Oh, sure, yeah,
If you're an argument on why Jews don't run the world, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like a guy like you, like, hey, dude, Jews just want a homeland. That's how it's presented. But really, in reality, it is about, like, I personally believe, and this is Sam speaking, it's about owning a trade route. That area is the biggest trade route that controls trade from China, Asia, and Africa into Europe. You're controlling that.
Are you talking about like the Greater Israel Project or something like that?
I think, dude, I could go. There's so many different projects. Whether it's the Clean Break Report, the Ben Gurion Canal.
Project,
Then you could get into the Mass Hannibal Directive, followed by the Daya dialect. What's it called? The Daya. I forget what the name of the second part is. You can just go on forever. I mean, like Ariel Sharon discussed. It's called a paper called Israel in the 1980s about how to destabilize Iraq, how to destabilize this. It's much bigger than that.
That's true. I mean, I think that the idea of Zionism has been bastardized to.
That's happens.
Yeah,
all the
I think
time.
it's been
like
completely bastardized.
Feminism is the same thing. Like women being able to do what they want. That's what's sold on.
Well, that's the Rockefeller. That's a Rockefeller scam.
Yeah.
You know that if feminism came about, like modern feminism came about at the same time they went off gold.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that. But also, if you
so
study
did abortion.
The roots of modern day feminism, it's rooted in like Satanism and like the European, the UN, and like this weird kind of religion they practice over there.
Well, they don't practice a religion. It's basically the UN and all these globalist organizations were formed from bankers and intelligence apparatuses and members of nobility, formed this way to kind of try to consolidate
But
power
there's
after a
weird
major
religion that there is a religion there, and it's like a weird one I haven't heard. A guy just came on and talked about how the biggest feminist of all time, how her mother was a practicing one, like basically a witch. And there's there's deep occult witchcraft involved in a lot of it.
It makes sense. It does actually.
Do we have to have this conversation in weird back alleys of Austin? Is that the only way?
That's how you keep Austin weird, Sam.
Is that the only way this thing gets off? But yeah, the point of everything is like there's an invisible hand manipulating all of us all the time at all levels.
I agree, but also people get so black. But you gotta. I think there's got to be a healthy balance between understanding that and not getting black pilled where you don't see like how great things are going to be in the future.
For me, it's like I have a relationship with Jesus that isn't organized.
Yes,
it's not organized religion. It's like the basic teachings of just like love thy neighbor, help other people, all that stuff, which is like. It's like I have friends of mine who I love with all my heart, and they're super duper like the Christians, and they think Hinduism is paganism. They think Buddhism is paganism, but there's a good argument that Jesus traveled and learned all that stuff and incorporated it into how he saw the world,
which actually makes sense.
So like I don't dismiss any of it.
No, well, I think the idea of dismissing anybody getting closer to God, which is another problem with this like woke right stuff, where they'll be like, "Oh, you're a Pharisee, you're a Jew, you're a synagogue of Satan," all this other stuff, and you get bombarded with messages from people that you thought were your friends and stuff too, which is even crazier.
Well, that's gotta be weird to be in this space and then just have these people saying this stuff to you. It's gotta be.
It's a little weird. It kind of like fucked me up a little bit. It kind of made for a minute. It kind of made me not want to do that. It kind of made me like not want to do this anymore because I'm just like because I'm like, dude, I'm the one who's busting my ass.
Yeah, I'm
putting putting my freedom, my safety, everything
There's
completely on the line. Yeah, completely on the line because I love America and I want our American values to transcend time and last forever. And then I'm being called by like some dweeb that just sits on his computer all day, like. Saying that I'm controlled opposition when I'm busting my fucking ass to try to like make it so that you have a freer society.
That's a sign you're doing great.
That actually is a sign. You're right.
That's a sign you're doing great. When you don't hear that, that's when you're like, "What the fuck's going on, dude?" It's like you're fading, right? So for me, it's like I got to a point where just these internet trolls were doing very unspeakable shit, and even though I showed up to their house and we were gonna beat the fuck out of them. The truth of the matter is it's a sign that I'm doing well. What they did was wrong, and I don't really care. I've been called everything in the book.
No, dude. I don't care either.
You get called synagogue Satan. I get called a fuck gay. I get called controlled op. I get called everything.
Gotten called, yeah.
And I don't care. I go, yeah. I just run with it and even make it crazy.
I think it's funny. I guess what I'm saying is like when it comes to people that you thought were friends of yours is when it like gets weird.
Yeah, I mean, because listen,
that's what I'm
Alex,
saying. Yeah,
everyone's got to go. Why is Alex's videos being featured everywhere? And it can't be because it's great, because I'm doing great shit. Why aren't they sharing my stuff? And it's like they can't come to grips with like, in a lot of ways, not all the time, but a lot of it is a meritocracy. Whether people don't want to believe it or not, there are the levels of control that the tech people control. But like what you're talking about, they're throttling it. So if it makes it everywhere, that means you fucking did a great job.
That's what I think too, because I've had my shit throttled for years.
Yeah.
And it's still, my stuff still is throttled. I still have to send my stuff to big accounts because the algorithm's all fucked up and stuff.
Dude, I just told Rogan this. I was like, I have 124,000 followers on Instagram. And I put up a post the other day that got 25 likes.
That makes no sense.
It's statistically impossible.
Yeah.
Especially when my podcast, gets 100,000, right? That alone would get me X number of likes. And I got 25, not even 100. And like, listen, I am totally fine with I'm not funny or my posts are. I'll accept that. But even that, to a point, I would get a couple hundred likes.
Yeah.
But 25, I'm throttled.
No, it's. Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. It's fucking ridiculous when they do that.
Yeah.
It's totally.
It sucks.
It's ridiculous. It makes you. I think that's another side to make people like us give up and just not care anymore.
100%. But it's actually kind of wrong for them to do it, because if you study all of the CIA, FBI money, Pentagon, DARPA money that went into all these social media sites, right? They're government owned.
Yeah, well, yes. Even
So-
the internet was the ARPANET, yeah.
Yeah, so like even that is a violation of our First Amendment. And Jimmy Dore says it all the time. He's like, he goes, Facebook throttling you and censoring you is like in the 70s and 80s. If the phone company said you couldn't use your phone for business, like they're destroying our business. They're putting their finger on the
I agree.
on the
But
weight.
this is kind of an inevitability of what happens when technology, like it's a growing pain of getting more technologically advanced.
Right.
Ultimately, you get to freedom. I've been reading this book called The Sovereign Individual, and they kind of talk a lot about that.
It's gotta get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, and I think we're almost at the point where we're at peak. We're almost at peak clown world. I think it's actually been getting better these past
The
few
only way
years.
it gets worse is if war comes to this our soil.
Yeah,
And
There's
that is always
but they're running out of cards to play. They're like running out of cards. Like it's just obvious that these people are just running out of cards. People are getting more woken up. With the social media stuff, as long as you're trusting a third party to control your data and run things, nobody's gonna save you. The only thing that you get saved by is God, right?
Yeah.
Is my viewpoint. That being said, you're gonna create protocols and platforms where you control your own data, and you're not gonna deal with these censorious algorithms. Like, do you have a Nostr?
What's a
Nostr is a public-private key Bitcoin-based social media app where you get a public key and you get like you get a private NSEC seed like phrase, right? No one can deactivate your account because they have to have your phrase to manipulate anything, and there's no like engagement farming, none of that, and you could like send like sats to people based on how much you like their posts.
What is this?
Nostr, N-O-S-T-R.
Okay, there's that, and there's also what's his face's the Podfather. What is his name?
What, Adam Curry?
Yeah, he has something like
What,
that.
Fountain?
He has a thing where you exchange each crypto for liking.
It might be Fountain because it's a podcasting app too, where you can put all your podcasts on Fountain and people can send you Bitcoin and stuff like that.
It's so crazy. Like I should be doing all this.
You
and
should. I started.
It's I mean, like I just have 19 podcasts and I'm just going all the time.
Yeah, dude, I'll send you some stuff about Nostr, but Nostr is pretty awesome, and it's like, and that's the problem too, is that, man, you have so many people in our freedom movement that complain about the New World Order and complain about I'm stifled, I'm being canceled, I'm being this and that. They own no fucking Bitcoin. They don't self-custody their finances. They're not like they're not figuring out any escape hatches. They're not growing their own food. They're not doing anything.
Are you growing food?
Yeah, I got a garden.
Dude, I want to. I got a backyard.
I'm not the best at it, but we're getting some vegetables. Like I was fishing, literally, dude. I was fishing while I was messaging you on X. I wasn't even gonna go to work, and I was like, "Yo, last minute podcast, let's go." And I was waiting on your response. So I'm like, "Let me go fishing in like 20 minutes from my house." I kept checking my phone to see what was going on. You're like, "All right, 7:30." I'm like, "All right, let's pack my shit." And I was booking it, dude. I was weaving through cars.
How far away do you live?
I'm an hour away.
Damn, Alex.
Bro, I'm an hour away. Right? But no, you just got done with Rogan coming to do this with me, so I feel like I have no choice. We got to get this going.
I appreciate that.
And so, like, I actually moved an hour out of Austin. I bought a house an hour out of Austin.
I
We were
think
talking
you're
about this.
so smart.
Smart, right?
I want to get out so badly. I live in L.A.
But why don't you?
Well, because I have children in L.A. and I couldn't live somewhere else. Right now.
Why don't your kids?
Right now, there's some
It's a
stuff
messy
going
custody.
on.
Okay.
Just some stuff going on, and I couldn't live somewhere else than my kids.
Right.
I would miss them so much.
No, I understand that. I'm grateful that I'm where I'm at.
Yeah,
And
it's a blessing.
It's a blessing, absolute blessing. It's crazy. I drive a tricycle for a living. I'm kind of an autistic weirdo, and I have a house, beautiful girlfriend. I'm doing a podcast with you. That's fucking insane. You went on Joe Rogan, and now you're talking to me, which is wild. And the way we met was crazy too, because I came up to you, and I'm like, "Hey, Sam, here's my rap song," and I just threw it in your face with no regard for how you felt at all. Do you remember that?
That's how you make it happen, dude.
I know. Do you remember that though?
Yes, I do. and then Eddie, because you went to school at Eddie's school, I was like, let's put a rapper up. And then I think you wanted to do like 3 songs. I'm like,
The first one was one song because that's the only song I had, and then I just got more and more and more songs, and then it just got like to be a thing. And then I met Alex Stein, and then the trolling started happening because of that. So it's just like you actually helped. You're actually a big reason. You launched my career. I don't think you realized that.
I love it, dude. I hope
I don't think you
become huge.
I hope so too.
I hope so too.
Without
You're
going
doing
to
great.
without going
You
to
should be revered. If we were in a just society, you would be respected and loved because you're taking truth to power, and they don't understand that.
No, it's a fact, and like my songs would be, and also in a just society, my songs would be #1 in the country.
I don't know about that, but I know that you're. I know that in a just society, you would be seen as like a wonderful like weapon against the apex predator class. That is a uniparty that controls both sides.
I appreciate that, and that's the goal. Is to like that I've been very lucky that I've been. One thing I've been really thankful is the fact that like I've been able to stay mission focused this entire time. And a lot of people who do this stuff, they get caught up in the likes and the algorithm and the like recognition, and like they base their worth upon who they talk to or who shared their stuff. And I'm just like, no, dude. My objective is to fight tyranny.
Cause
I
chaos.
don't give a fuck about any of this.
Chaos.
All I want is to not live in the New World Order, not eat bugs, not live in a pod, not have a social credit score. That has been my goal. And this comedic trolling has been the thing that I've been the best at to help prevent this from happening. And it's thankful to you and also Alex Stein, who was like the freaking OG goat at this. And all I've done is take pages out of his playbook and just try to like, you look at people like that and I'm just like, okay, now I know what to do. I got to level up, got to level up, got to do that. He's fearless.
You guys are both fearless. You guys are doing things that would scare most people.
No, I used to get really scared. Even going to council meetings, I'd get fucking nervous. Something happened. I just don't give a fuck anymore.
That's the best place to be.
I just don't care. I'm just like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. What I get nervous about is like, what if I don't have an opportunity to like troll a politician or see the media or do anything like that? Like that's what I get annoyed about. I'm like, what like versus like, oh no, I'm gonna get cold feet approaching Hillary Clinton or Nancy Pelosi. I'm like, no, I was, but with the Pelosi thing, dude. We almost didn't even get to even talk to anybody because we weren't sure where the events were or what was happening. And I'm just like, oh, I just like don't want to miss Pelosi. But like once we saw Pelosi, I'm like, get the fucking camera. Let's fucking
there you
go,
dude. There
let's
you go. That's
go.
fearless,
Yeah,
dude.
like
and
let's
look, you're
go.
still alive. She didn't off you.
Yeah.
She can get one of her Chinese spies to come and off you.
Well, because you have to tell them that you're not suicidal. I think is like the big thing.
Oh, is that the disclaimer?
Yeah, you're just like, and I wrote that in my song. I'm like, I have no intentions of
not
committing
suicidal.
Well, I love my life and everyone in it. And just for the record, I have no intentions of committing suicide. And if I get shot 2 times in the back of the head, well, I was not the one.
So be it.
I was not the one who did it.
So
it was
be
not
it.
me. I didn't do it.
You know what, dude? Die a hero, live long enough to be the villain.
So, dude, but that's what I'm saying, and it's like, that's why it's really important to have a good religious foundation.
Love the Lord, dog.
No, for real, because if you're doing this stuff, you're putting it like somebody could actually kill me for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like jokes aside, it hasn't happened yet, and people overplay that card, right? But there is like a possibility that if we like become an actual tyrannical police state, which we're not there yet, but we're heading there.
They just legalized
I know
the
DOD where they can kill you for
Defense.
protest. Yeah, but we live in America and people own guns, and if that happens, you're just gonna get a civil war anyway.
It's
not like it's gonna be like China where the government just massacres everyone with no recourse.
Well, we really let Antifa go a little crazy there for a while, and I realized that. I'm like, why did we let these fucking baristas from Starbucks burn everything down?
It wasn't the baristas. It was these ghetto Well, it was also these ghetto motherfuckers from the hood that just got out of jail and they were getting released left and right for committing violent crimes during the pandemic.
Well,
conveniently when the riots were starting too, Sam.
You know what's so interesting about that? If you study like Gavin Newsom and his like playbook, he was like, go inside, stay inside. It's the only way we're going to stop the spread. But at the same time, we have to release all these prisoners because of COVID, and we can't leave them inside. You're like, how do you do that mental gymnastics?
Well, you don't, and that's why nobody trusts the experts anymore, and that's why people like that. So what I'm thankful for is that people like that have made what I do really easy. You know, like all I'm doing is just saying what is literally in front of everybody else. Yeah. Right? Like, I don't even think, like, I'm that, and like, I don't think that I'm that intelligent. I don't think I'm, like, that comedically gifted. I don't think I'm any of these things. All I'm doing,
buddy.
Yeah, that's it. All I'm doing is just willing to, like, literally say what everybody wants to say that's in front of them.
You're fearless, dude, and that's why it works, because you're fearless. Not everybody can do. You have complete and utter, like, I'm just gonna go in there and just fucking. You're just a juggernaut, dude. And
Trying.
It's so fun to watch. Because most people would be too chicken shit. I just have to make sure where am I.
No, you're good. I have my alarm set. We're gonna wrap it up really soon.
Gotta be there.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it.
20 minutes.
We'll wrap up soon. But yeah, the tricycle actually helps out a lot. with this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you get it out. You get to see the world.
Well, and also gives you a broad perspective of things, right? Like too many people get so caught up in the echo chambers, especially you go on social media. Everything you see is catered and curated to like whatever
When you agree with your everything on your timeline, just know you're in an algorithm.
Yes, I know, and I noticed that too. And so I always try to follow like libtards and like I have libtard. There's a lot of we have a very diverse array of political opinions at our pedicab shop. And with me pedicabbing downtown, I also play my songs for all my customers. And one reason why I do that is because
does that help or hurt with tips?
I think it probably winds up in the middle. During COVID, it helped a lot, right? Because everybody out believed was like on the same page.
Now they've all memory hold it, moved on.
Yes, kind of. But what it really does, Sam, is it provides like a focus. It's like focus grouping for me. Like by playing these songs and engaging people's reactions, I kind of like can figure out who I think will win the election, right? Or I can figure out where the climate is based on how people like my songs. Or when I start doing these street interviews, I'm just like, I asked a bunch of ghetto like black dudes how they felt about the economy back in April, and they were saying bring back Trump, no cap, unprompted. And so I'm like, oh, okay. I think Trump. Yeah, okay. Well, you just answered everything I need to know. Let's plan for Trump.
It's so crazy to me. Listen, dude, I'm an old school liberal. The last of the presidents I voted for, of the two parties, was Barack Obama's first term. Like, I was a registered Democrat most of my life.
Okay, yeah.
I don't understand how some of the most intelligent people I know don't see what's going on. And I am fine. I mean, I could sit here and list all the things Trump did. You'll never hear it on mainstream media.
No,
You'll never hear it on MSNBC. You'll never hear it on CNN. You'll never hear it on Fox because the people who own those channels love what he did.
They love that stuff, yeah.
They love it, so they'll never hear it.
I was actually going to not vote I was going to vote for Kennedy and whatever, right? Like, I was not going to vote for Trump. What changed my mind was the putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet, the promise to pardon Ross Albright.
If he did that, I would respect him so much.
Yeah, I think he'll do it.
Now he's talking about getting rid of income tax. I'm like, dude, do it.
I'm excited. I like this stuff.
Hold on. If Trump gets rid of income tax, he can be a dictator. I would be like, vote for him for life. You stay here for life. If I don't have to pay any taxes ever again, you can be the dictator of everything all the time.
Yeah, and he's also literally like 85 years old, so his life's
not
going to be
that
that long.
So that'd be the next 3 years.
Yeah,
you can be the dictator of the next 3 years.
Yeah.
No taxes. No taxes.
No taxes for 3 years. But
because people, I know we got to wrap it up, but if people actually knew how the money system worked, they'd realize there's no reason for them.
Well, if people knew how money worked, they would understand that lack of sound money and currency debasement is completely correlated for why our society is debased the way in which it has. And then conservative Inc. would no longer be able to have a paycheck because everyone would just be buying Bitcoin and transacting separately and running their own nodes.
Conservative Inc. is annoying.
And so that is also.
Are you a Ben Shapiro guy?
I mean, he's in my tribe. But
okay.
Okay.
Like, I'm Armenian. I'm Italian.
All right.
I can go, there's some fucked up Armenians and there's some fucked up Italians. Can you do that with your tribe?
Sure. My view on Ben Shapiro. Okay. Here's what I think about Ben Shapiro, right? Ben Shapiro's like the kid that your high school friend that you had.
Right.
He was only your friend because all of you guys just made fun of him all the time.
Yeah.
But he's still your friend. But he's just there for you to make fun of all the fucking
my
time.
Opinion
and that's how I look at Ben Shapiro.
Is like, I used to really like him until like until the whole Zionism October 7th happened.
Wow.
And we won't get into that. That's not the discussion. But the discussion is that this guy would go onto campuses and curb stomp pink-haired and blue-haired people. And then when grown-ass men wanted to have a debate with him on what happened that day, he wouldn't do it. And to me, that to me is like, you're just a bully at that point.
It is a little soft.
Just go, like, dude, just go do it. Like, you're this great, like, he's supposedly this great speaker, millions of followers. You don't like Nick Fuentes? Go curb stomp that motherfucker. Go curb stomp him.
He actually should. I think it would be a public good for Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes to have a debate.
Dude.
Because it would show how fucking stupid someone like Nick Fuentes is with his ideology. Actually, his ideology, and we got to wrap up in a minute, but like his ideology is actually encouraging a lot of the like incel, fiat-minded, processed food, seed oil consuming behavior that we're dealing with right now. Like, you literally see these gropers telling you to eat McDonald's and eat seed oils and do God knows what, and like they brag about like not being able to get laid, and it's just like that type of toxic shit is how you get the state to be your family anyway, and how you create more communism,
Imagine
more
being
radical
proud
femme.
of not getting laid.
Imagine.
What an awful like that lets you know we live in the upside down. And like Nick Fuentes, by all accounts, is a closeted gay. And I love Nick Fuentes.
Nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Be as gay as you like.
Just own that shit and stop telling guys not to chase chicks.
Yeah.
Because we need kids.
And then he's telling people to
We're
vote
not
for.
having enough kids.
And then he's like practically telling people to vote for Kamala without telling people to vote for Kamala. Such a side. But you know what? It's good. I'm glad that he's back on X because people get to see him exactly for who he is, which is a good thing.
He has a lot of good points too, but like the problem with these guys, all of them, is when they miss so badly.
And it discredits everything because when like somebody can make a documentary about vaccines and how the shot was poison, and they can talk about how the government is obviously geoengineering the stratosphere, which is fucking up the climate, preventing you from getting vitamin D, destroying everything in the fucking atmosphere. Your food is poison. All this stuff, right? And then, like, that same person is then blaming the Jews for everything. They lose credibility, and then nobody wants to listen to these other narratives, and then all you do is strengthen the mainstream media and the CIA and all these apparatuses. It's almost like the intelligence community hires those people deliberately to promote, to ultimately get us to,
the Marxists, the Zionists, the Jesuits, the communists, the Nazis, all these. They're all middle management.
They all work in tandem to help us shepherd it into a new world order.
They wanted, what we're supposed to do. In reality, we should all be getting along because there's way more of us than there is of them.
This is true. Sam, how do we get a hold of you?
SamTripoli.com. All my podcasts, everything there. My new special is dropping on Monday because some piece of shit fucking released it for free, and so now I got to put it out. So I'm going to put it out on X and on SamTripoli.com and Rumble, and then I might put it on YouTube, but it's going to be beep so much it's going to sound like Morse code. It's just going to be an hour of beep, 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 beep. But go check it out. It's called Why Is Everybody Getting Quiet? And I love it. Feedback has been great.
Sam, thank you so
Alex,
much.
you're the best,
You're
buddy.
the best, bro. Let's go.
You're a great man.